Hey everyone, this is Mackie. I wanted to talk about emotions when it comes to men and women and the way society treats you if you have certain emotions, especially men. Okay? Now, when it comes to sadness, normally, a great releaser for that is crying. I see nothing wrong with that. Society teaches men, though, not to cry. Be a man. Toughen up. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? You'll be all right. This and that and the third. Fool. This man's mama could have just died. And you're sitting up here telling him to not cry? No, that's not healthy. If you're feeling sad, cry like a baby. Let all those emotions out. It's not healthy to hold all that in, and you wonder why men die quicker than women do. You wonder why men are more stressed out than women, when it comes to certain things. It's because they're not letting their emotions out. So what do? Oh, I can't cry. So they'll punch a hole in the wall. They'll drink. They'll get violent. They'll turn to drugs when all they could have done was just cried. That would have been a lot better than punching a hole in the wall. But see, society tells men not to cry. Otherwise, excuse my language, but a man that cries in this society that we live in, oh, you a pussy, oh, you a bitch. Stop crying all the motherfucking time. And I can't stand people that can't stand to see a man cry. A lot of women don't like a man that cries. I can't stand a pussy ass man. I can't. He can't be crying. I can't handle that. Bitch, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? Now, I can see all the time, maybe if he's always complaining and whining about something, that's one thing. But if there's something that he's legit sad about or concerned about or worried about, and he tends to shed a tear about it, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. See, it's okay for a woman to cry over the loss of her son or something like that. And she can cry and for months and years about it, and people will never say anything. Oh, she's just grieving. Oh, poor woman. But if a man, right? If a man is grieving just as much over the death of his son or daughter, they're going to look at you like, oh my goodness, he needs to get over it. Be a man, toughen up. You have to be strong for your woman, because she's going through the same thing. She's going through the loss of her child too. You know what I mean? If my husband needs to cry, if he needs to turn on the waterworks about something, I get the tissues ready. I get my bosom ready. And if he needs to cry, my shoulder, my bosom is ready for him to cry. Snot, everything. I'll wipe the snot off his nose. I'll wipe the tears out of his eyes. Because just to give him some sort of comfort, because he would do the same for me. And sometimes he doesn't even like to do that in front of me, but if he needs to let it out, he's gonna. When it comes out, it comes out. Cause we've been dealing with a lot with the loss of a immediate family member, and you know, he has his waves of emotions where he just can't control it, and I have my waves of emotions where I can't control my crying, you know. So when I'm crying, he gives me his shoulder to cry on. But sometimes even though I tell him there's nothing wrong with a man that cries, he still don't like crying in front of me. But if he needs to cry, I'm there for him. To, you know, to he could put his head on my shoulder or whatever, and then he cries long and hard as he needs to. You know, we need to be a little bit more, I can't think of the word, but like less rigid when it comes to emotions. You know, with the gender roles. Okay, a woman cries over something, big deal, right? But if a man cries over something, oh my goodness, he's a pussy, he's a bitch. You see the stuff that's wrong with that, and you wonder why men drink. You wonder why men punch holes in the walls. You wonder why men beat on wife, because they don't want to be looked at as weak. They don't want to be looked at as like a beta male. I don't even like that term, beta, alpha. You know, it's just like, no, you're human. You know, I'm a beta male. I'm confident. Da, 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 da. Not all men have quote unquote alpha male tendencies. You know, we all got this. All of us were born with the same emotions, whether we're boy or girl. We all were born crying, so we all have the same emotions. It's just when you grow up, society teaches that the woman should act like this, and the man should act like this. And that's what got us messed up in society, you know. So every time I see a man cry, it makes me sad. It does. You know, I couldn't even watch the George Floyd trial. It was too emotional for me. Here I am talking to y'all about emotions, but you know, I already knew I was gonna start crying as soon as I seen it, you know. But yeah, we need to stop with all of that. We really do. We need to stop with all of that. I want to talk more about gender roles and the place that men and women have when it comes to certain things, as far as marriage and things like that. I got a lot on my mind to talk about, but that's all I wanted to talk about, was just, you know, emotions. So if you're a man and if you need to cry, cry. You know, if your mate, or if you got friends that are uncomfortable with you crying, then that's something that you guys are gonna have to discuss, you know, because it's just like, come on now. This is why people suffer from depression. This is why suicide happens, because we can't release our emotions the way we should. You know, we are already repressed and suppressed as a society. They are already suppressing. You know, they want the men in particular to suppress those feelings. That is not healthy. It can make you mentally ill and physically ill. When your mental is ill, it affects your whole physical body. It affects your mind, your soul, and the physical. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. This is Mackie, P.I.M.O. J.W. Jones. I'm about to go home and get a couple of hours in of sleep before I have to wake up and help my daughter with remote learning. But yes, question everything. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. And peace.